March was a month full of changes. I started my first freelancing gig, got my first paycheck from it, took some big steps in my business, and completed a move from our apartment in Washington, D.C. into my sister-in-law's house in Florida. In today's monthly reset, we're going to cover my goals, budget, and business metrics for March, as well as go through our goals for April and our plan to break even in our budget, mainly through some lofty income goals on my end. Excuse the cat eating in the background. Me and Boba's all-in-one office and living space is in here, so it's been an adjustment. As always, we're going to start by looking at March and reflecting on our budget, and then our goals and intentions, and then lastly, all of our business metrics. So I'm going to start by showing you guys my budget tracker in Notion. I've made quite a few changes since we moved down to Florida. Not that many, but just a couple. In the month of April, I will be finishing up my You Need a Budget yearly subscription, and I had signed up for it last year when I was in my 9-to-5 job. Now we really don't have the income to justify spending like $100 on a budgeting software. So since right now our expenses are really low and our income's really low, we're going to take a month or two off of using YNAB, and I'm going to be tracking my expenses on my own through Notion. So this is a first look at what I'll be incorporating into my own like personal budgeting that I'll be doing through Notion. I'm going to make like a whole nother spreadsheet where I can fully track my expenses and spending throughout each category and basically mimic YNAB through Notion. So we'll see how that goes, and if I like it, maybe I'll keep doing it, and if not, then I'll go back to paying for YNAB as soon as we can actually afford it again. But in the meantime, if you look here, this is what I used to use to track how many Instacart sessions I needed to do to break even during the month after I quit my 9-to-5 job. But this was the first month that I started making freelance income, so I decided while we were living with my sister-in-law, I would not be doing any Instacart sessions. I still am doing Rover, and I have my profile up if you've been around for a while and you know I did cat sitting through Rover. But I am trying to focus all of my efforts on freelancing / virtual assistant work, as well as building up a digital marketing agency with my friend Julie. Because of that, I've been extremely busy and haven't had time to do Instacart anyways, and you'll see that reflected through my budget. So if we look at the month of March, you'll see that basically what I've changed is taking out that Instacart session section and basically doing YouTube income, Rover income, and freelance income. And I'm actually gonna switch those because Rover is like the least important in my opinion, and I'll move freelance up here since it's going to be probably my highest paying category going forward. So if you look here, you'll see that so far I've made $140 in freelance income in the month of March. YouTube income, I made $0 because in the month of February I did not reach the $100 threshold to get a payout. So if you look, you'll see I pretty much get paid every other month with YouTube because I rarely hit that $100 threshold, but that is one of my goals. I'm trying to get to a point where I get paid out from YouTube every single month, $100. My Rover income, I had one job back in DC at the end of February that paid out at the beginning of March, as well as one job in Florida. So I made $93 from Rover. And then if you go back, you'll see that I have this category, which adds up all of my income pre-tax. And then I multiply that by 80% because I found that throughout the past 6 months, since having self-employment income, that really once I deduct my usual expenses, because a lot of my stuff requires a lot of gas expenses, I end up only having to pay about 20% in taxes. Obviously, I might change that number in the future, but for now, that is just what I consider. So I always save 20% of my income towards taxes. So I have that, calculate that number for me there so that I know my take home, which is $186 in March. You'll see Oliver's income was $0 in March. And long story short, I thought he was going to get paid out one more time in March and he didn't. So I'm not really sure why he didn't get paid out. They must have like lumped all of his last few days of work into his last paycheck at the end of February, but he didn't get paid at all in March, which is very sad. And then you'll see everything is added together. So again, because Oliver didn't get paid, our monthly income is just $186 in the month of March, which is ridiculously low. The lowest you'll see we've had in a very long time. And again, mainly that's because I did not do really any Rover. I did no Instacart and Oliver didn't work at all. So again, we had like no money. Monthly spending, I haven't put this number in because the month hasn't ended yet. So if you do want to see more info on our monthly spending, then make sure to look for our March financial recap that I'll do probably next week at the beginning of April. And then I have this column which will calculate the net worth change, but for some reason I did not do this. So we need to do monthly income minus monthly spending. That will give us our change in net worth. So that is it for the month of March. We'll pop back over here in a bit so I can give you a look at April and explain what I have going on there. But before we do that, we're going to talk through our March goals. So if you have been around, you'll know I usually do my goal planning in my bullet journal. So if we go to the month of March, I'm going to run through my goals here and tell you what I accomplished, what I didn't. So in the month of March, my business goals were for YouTube. I wanted to post 8 videos, which after I post this video tomorrow, this will be video number 8 and I will reach that goal. I wanted to hit 1,650 subscribers. I think I'm at 1,640 right now, so about 10 subscribers away, which is possible that I'll meet before the end of the month, but only if you guys help me out. So if you are not subscribed and you've been watching my videos for a while, if you would do me a favor and hit that subscribe button so you can be notified when I post future videos and you can follow along on my journey to self-employment and entrepreneurship, I would really, really appreciate it. And you can help me reach that goal before the end of the month. I wanted to hit 1,000 views on one video. One of my videos that I posted in the month of March is at like 850 views. So again, it's possible, but that video hasn't been getting any more views lately. So I don't know if that actually will happen, but I'm leaving it open because it's still possible. And then I wanted to post my first sponsored video, which I have not done because there was some issues because I was like in the middle of moving with the package arriving. So I didn't receive the package until like mid-March. So because of that, we pushed the video deadline to next week. So I will be posting that at the beginning of April. So I just am pushing that goal into April. Then some other goals I had is I wanted to finish my first virtual assistant job, which I did kind of. I started my first VA job basically with the digital marketing agency that me and Julie are starting. We've been working with some people for free to kind of get our bearings, make sure that our method and our systems that we believe in and have been using for ourselves will work for other people, and then implementing that for them and seeing what the results look like, as well as just practicing and trying working with different market types to see the type of market that we really want to work with long term. So through that process, something we've been doing is we've been working with one of Julie's contacts that she brought in to create a marketing plan and a social media plan for her, as well as like a brand development plan. And something that we suggested was for her to do some changes on her website, which she didn't have the time. And so I actually offered to be a VA and do website development for her to implement the strategies that we were suggesting through our marketing plan. I started that in the month of March. I haven't finished it, but I'm hoping I'm going to finish up the website tomorrow so I can invoice her at the end of the week. So that will be my first VA job completed. The next thing I have on here is to start part-time with this company that I talked about in my previous monthly reset video. And basically that's currently not happening for many reasons. They're kind of in like a transitionary state right now. And the person that I have a contact with there decided that it wasn't really the right time for me to start working there. And it kind of worked out because I've been so swamped with the work I've had through Julie, which I'll explain next, that in a sense, I started part-time with Julie instead of starting part-time with this other company, which in the end is better because again, I'm working with Julie to start a digital marketing agency. So it really just makes sense that I would be working for her instead. So basically, instead of starting part-time with them, I marked this off as a goal completed because I started working for Julie hourly to help her complete a contract she had that was specifically business development for a company she's working with. So it's a 6-week contract and I've been helping her out on like an hourly basis to complete different pieces of it. And I'm actually excited because next week I'm going to be going down to West Palm Beach to meet the company in person and basically introduce myself as someone who works with Julie, because we're trying to position ourselves to get the contract re-signed to work with them on a more ongoing way through digital marketing as well as business development. So I'll keep you guys posted and let you know how that goes. But because of that, I've been able to work multiple hours per week the past few weeks. If you saw on my March budget, again, I made $140 so far from that. And that was just from like 1 week of work. So I'm not working that many hours. I'm doing $20 an hour right now. So that was only like 7 hours. This week so far, I've worked like 5, but I have a ton of work I need to do for that this week because we've had some presentations that we're trying to put together for them. So anyways, long story short, I have technically started working on a part-time basis, and this actually ended up being better. And it's pretty much just freelancing or VA work, whatever you really want to call it. But the good thing is it's practice again for me and Julie working together and working for a client, and I'll be able to meet them next week, hopefully. So I'm going to be vlogging that. So if you want to be following along with my freelancing week in my life type content, I'm going to be trying to create weekly vlogs or bi-weekly vlogs where I show what a week in my life looks like post quitting my 9-to-5 now that I'm doing more like freelance work and I'm out of kind of the gig work world. So make sure again to subscribe if you're interested in those types of videos. And then my last goal in the other category was to create a lead magnet, which is basically what my Notion template was that I shared in my other videos. If you're not familiar with marketing, a lead magnet is basically a freebie that you give out to your community to help them out, something that's actually valuable to them and that will help them in whatever journey they're on. But then at the same time also gets them into your email list so that you can provide them with more content in the future future and also tell them about future offers. If you know anything about digital marketing, you'll know that everyone always suggests that you create an email list. So if you are doing anything online and you have an online presence, then you really should start working towards creating an email list. And the best way to do that is just to provide free value to your community. So that is what I started finally doing. I've been meaning to do that for a while, but finally started doing that in the month of March. And my goal is to create a new freebie for my community every single month to share with those who have already subscribed to my email community, as well as any new people who want to join. So I did that in March and I'm super excited. So I have a few new people that have joined the email community, which you'll see when we look at the business metrics. Then personal goals. So I'm actually going to retire the personal goals in these videos, mainly because I want to focus on my entrepreneurship journey and my freelancing journey and quitting my 9-to-5. Although there is personal goals that I'll be working on, I don't think I'm going to continue sharing them in these videos. It might be something that comes up in my vlogs and stuff like that, but if you guys are interested and still want to hear about the personal goals, let me know. But I find it really interesting to focus on the business goals, and it keeps things a little less complicated because when there's so many goals, I feel like it gets confusing and it sounds like a ton, but in reality, the reason is because if you're in a 9-to-5 job, the goals that I always state, which is usually like 80% of my goals, would be goals that I would have at a regular 9-to-5 or that you might have if you're in a 9-to-5. So it might sound like a lot, but most of my goals are professional goals that are, to be done in my 40-hour-a-week basis if you're comparing it to a 9-to-5. Anyways, we'll go over my personal goals from March though. For external, I wanted to find the perfect apartment/home and get a lease figured out so that me and my husband can move in at the end of April, early May in reality. But I didn't even touch that in March, so I'm pushing that off into April. So next month we will want to travel up to Orlando and check out some different neighborhoods and areas and hopefully find an apartment complex that we like, that we can sign a lease in to start in May. The thing that's kind of holding me back with that right now is that we don't really know what my husband's going to be doing for work, and because I don't have a current stable salary, it's going to be hard for us in general to find an apartment who will allow us to sign, since we don't have like income to back up paying our rent to show for right now until my husband has like a job secured. So if I haven't talked about it before, he's planning on just transferring in the same company he was working for that contracts out to hospitals. He's pre-med, if you guys don't know, and he's been working in emergency rooms for the past like couple of years while he studies and applies to medical school. So he already has that lined up. So I don't know if we could just use that as the income he's gonna have, since he does have like a job secured with them, but he's also considering looking for a different job and hopefully one that doesn't have overnight shifts. That's what I'm hoping for, but that might take a bit longer. And in reality, he might just end up like applying to that in a few months after application season's over and just start by doing the same job he's been doing, because starting a new job is overwhelming and he does need to do all of his essays and applications and personal statement and all of that in the next few months. So I'm probably thinking that's what he's going to end up doing. So if that's the case, then probably will be a lot easier for us to get a verification of income from that job so that he can show that we are making income. And then there's a chance that we might have to do like a co-signer or a guarantor, which I haven't done since college. So I'll definitely keep you guys in the loop about that, because if you're doing freelance work, it's going to be a lot harder for you to find an apartment, especially if you're going through a normal like leasing agency versus doing a like individual landlord that might cut you a deal or allow you to put down a larger deposit or something like that. So I'll keep you guys posted and let you know. I've already been doing some research into it, but that is a goal for April. And see, that's the type of goal that I probably would just talk about in my vlogs and like less likely to bring up in these videos. Then my financial goals. So I'll still continue with the financial goals because they're related to business and, entrepreneurship and freelancing. I wanted to file my taxes in March, but I did not do that. So I'm planning on filing my taxes in the next 2 weeks at the beginning of April. I'm stressing kind of about filing my taxes, but we'll see how it goes. I'll do a video like recapping all of my experience filing my taxes and how it went, filing as like half self-employed for the year and half in a 9-to-5, and also married filing jointly. It's going to be a complicated tax year, so I'll keep you guys posted on that. So that goal is just pushed till April. I wanted to also make $100 in AdSense. So right now we're at $82 for the month of March. So it's again possible I could hit $100, but I would be surprised. My guess is we're going to end at like 90, 92. If we do hit 90, that's like much higher than we've been hitting the previous few months. So I'm still very happy with that. And then my last goal is that I wanted to break even in March, which is just not going to happen. Like there's no way. As you guys saw in my budget when I went over my March stuff, I literally made like $0 in March, and our expenses in March were actually insane, mainly because of moving. Second, because we had to drive a ton in March. We've spent like $600 in gas in Florida. It's like actually insane. A lot of that was the moving process, but still. Point is, gas has been crazy high, as everyone I'm sure knows. And on top of that, we have been in Florida, which there's just a lot more driving around that I wasn't used to doing in DC. But I'm not doing Instacart and Rover, and Oliver's not going to work. So I'm sure next month will be more of a normal month in terms of gas expenditures, but we shall see. Point is, we're not breaking even. So the next thing we're going to look at is our metric tracker for the month of March. So what I like to do is track my business metrics, basically my social media metrics each month, so I can kind of see how things progress over time. So for the month of March, I already filled this out. I've currently posted 7 YouTube videos, have 1,640 subscribers. I got 7,700 views in the month of March so far, and I'm at $82 in AdSense. I did not post it all on Instagram. I gained 1 Instagram follower from the previous month. I didn't do any Facebook group posts. We're still at 13 Facebook group members, and I have 19 email subscribers. So we did gain 5 subscribers this past month. So that's really exciting, and I'm really excited to welcome all the new email subscribers. So if you do want to join my email list, there will be a link in the description to get that Notion template for expense planning, as well as a link to just join the email list if you don't want to get the Notion template. But either way, you'll be added to the list. Again, sorry about Boba and me sharing a room. I feel like I have an annoying roommate. So that is a look at my March metrics. I will update this after March ends. I usually do it like a few days into the next month. I go back and like look at how everything changed and update these numbers. Mainly YouTube is what's going to change, because that does change drastically day to day. I doubt much else will change, but that is a quick look at our metric tracker. I think overall we've done pretty good. We've gained like 60 subscribers. Our views are probably going to end up being a little bit higher than last month's views. Our AdSense revenue is much higher already, and the month's not even over. And again, we did gain those 5 email subscribers, so that is all good stuff. I'm really excited. Small wins. It's not something crazy, but having improvement at all always makes me happy, because I do try to continuously improve with my YouTube channel and everything that I do for my online business. I work to make small changes each month. When I get to see results from that, it does make me feel really good and really happy about it. So thank you guys for all following along and supporting me on this journey. It seriously does mean so much. I know it probably doesn't seem like a lot, but your comments seriously make my day every single time and just help me to keep going and not want to give up. So I seriously cannot thank you enough. I appreciate every single one of you, and I hope that you'll stick around for a long time. Keep me posted on your journey as well. I love hearing how your lives change as time goes on too. So that is it for our March reflections. Wow, that felt like a lot, but I feel like I had a lot to update you guys on because a lot happened this month. Now we'll get into April, which for April, I'm going to start by just going through my April goals that I already outlined. So we're going to talk through my business goals. You'll see here too, my business goals are much more extensive and the list is much longer, and I have a lot more categories, but that's because I have a lot more going on, which is a great thing to have. So I'm really happy. Starting with YouTube, as always, I want to post 8 videos. I want to hit 1,750 subscribers, which seems very lofty of a goal because again, I've only really been gaining about 60 subscribers per month. So saying that I want to gain like 110 from where we're at right now is a pretty lofty goal, but there's a reason why I set such a high goal, and that is because of another one of my goals, which is to post 2 search-based videos in the month of April. So I have been doing keyword research and trying to figure out the questions that people have in the area that I am making content on, and I want to make sure that I actually make 2 videos based on those topics so that people who are actually searching things up can find my channel. I find that it's a lot easier to gain subscribers from search-based content because people are directly looking for that content, and when you answer a question for someone, they're a lot more likely to want to stick around and they just feel a lot more connected because you literally answered an exact question they had. Versus if you see something on browse, it takes quite a few videos for people to finally decide to subscribe and stick around because they were pretty much just pushed your content. Like there wasn't a reason that your content was giving to them besides YouTube's algorithm thinking that they might like your videos. So I want to see if I can reach that goal by doing something new and posting 2 search-based videos in April. I want to hit 1,000 views on one video. That is like basically a goal I try to set every month, is just to really push to make at least one really good video that YouTube picks up on and pushes out to people and introduces new audience to my channel. Hi, Boba. And then lastly, post one sponsored video, my first sponsored video. So as I said, I pushed that goal from March. So that will be done in April. Then for coaching, so this is a new category. I want to coach 3 people on a weekly basis and get 3 testimonials from them at the end of the month of April. If you haven't seen, I am offering free coaching / mentorship for the month of April. If you are someone who's trying to leave the 9-to-5 and follow a non-traditional path, then make sure to go in my description. There'll be a link to fill out a survey to apply to be one of those 3 people that I coach for free in April. And basically the reason I'm doing this, if you're wondering like why would you offer free coaching, is number one, because I genuinely just want to help you guys. If I had someone who could have talked to me while I was going through the process of deciding to quit my 9-to-5 job, I think it would have been extremely beneficial. There was a few people that I did reach out to that I met through social media that I had calls with and talked through my decision to leave or not, but it was always just like a one-off call and it wasn't super personalized. We would just talk about my issues and that was pretty much it, which again was super helpful. But looking back, if I had 4 weeks of free mentorship or coaching where someone could genuinely help me and they were just a few steps ahead of me, I think it would have been literally life-changing for me during that time, because it does feel extremely lonely and isolating, especially when none of your friends in real life like understand what you're going through. So if you're one of those people, then again, make sure to check out that link in the description to fill out that survey so I can help you in the month of April. The other reason I'm doing it is because I just want to gain experience in helping people. I have tried out coaching in the past, but I didn't have a specific thing I was coaching on. I was just kind of doing general coaching to just, again, try it out for free. So this time around, I wanted to have a topic in mind and something that I personally have already been through that I know I could help other people with. So that is the second reason. And the third reason is because I want to get some testimonials from those that I work with to see how I helped them and see what things really were super helpful for them in my process or my strategy that I'm going to be explaining and teaching to them, because I want to basically trial and error the things that I believe were key to my success in leaving my 9-to-5 job and not being at a point yet that I have to go back, and I don't see myself ever having to go back. And lastly, because I am not paying rent in the month of April, because again, I'm living with my sister-in-law right now. So because of that, I figured it was a really good time to offer something for free, because I don't have that extreme stress of trying to make enough money to make ends meet. So it seemed like a low risk, high reward way to help others as well as get some experience coaching. Next is email. So under email, I have make a YNAB replacement in Notion and use as a lead magnet and offer it to you guys for free. So I already talked about this. I don't need to go into detail about it again, but basically that would be that lead magnet that I would create in the month of April and offer to you guys for free. That hopefully would help you guys out as well. And then the second one for email is to send out 2 newsletters in the month of April. So I'm not exactly sure what these are going to look like yet. I have yet to actually start sending out email newsletters, but I kind of just want to send out key thoughts or key takeaways that I'm learning during my entrepreneurship and freelancing journey and share that through the newsletter. So if you want more written type content from me, then make sure to check that out. I'll keep you guys posted as that comes out, and I will share a sample of it in the community tab whenever I post that, so you can check out and see if you would be interested in receiving those in the future. The next category is freelancing / virtual assistant work. So my goal in April, which I think this is an accurate estimate, so it's probably not a lofty goal, but I'm not really sure yet. I want to make $500 from freelancing and virtual assistant work in the month of April. I'm hoping I can kind of like blow that out of the water and actually make more money from it, but we'll see. And then the second one is I want to start 1 new freelancing gig in April. So I already have a lead on this that I've talked about in the past. The place that my aunt works actually needed some help with copywriting, so I think that would be a good spot for me to add on a new freelance gig. So I'm hoping I can kind of get that secured in April if that works out. If not, then I want to try to find something else, network myself into another freelancing gig that I can start doing in April. Next category is my digital marketing agency with Julie. I want to sign our first contract with a digital marketing agency client in the month of April. For this one, again, we already have a lead for the client, so it's really just going to depend on if that client lead ends up panning out and being an active client that we work with, our first paid client. But if that works out, then I would meet meet that goal. If not, I really don't think there's any other leads that we have. So I'm not really sure if I would be able to meet that goal if the client that we have in mind doesn't work out, but we'll just play it out and see how it goes. But I wanted to make it a goal because I want to make that a priority in terms of my mindset, to make sure that I'm putting as much effort towards that client that we can, so that we can show them that we can give enough value that we're worth signing on for this contract. And then I want to get my first paycheck from the digital marketing agency. Again, this would just be if that client works out and that contract gets signed, but I thought it'd be cool if that ends up happening. I would be excited to be able to mark that off on my goals list. Then my last category is just other. So here I have more general overall business goals as well as some financial goals. So first of all, I want to set up new affiliate links. So if you have tried to click any of my affiliate links lately, you'll see that they do not work. And that is because I am looking for a new affiliate network to work with. So I'm trying to figure all that out and set up new affiliate links on my channel. I also want to make $150 total from YouTube in the month of April between AdSense and my sponsored video. I want to compile my 2021 business expenses in Notion, as well as create a business expense tracker in Notion so that I have a way more organized way to track my expenses. And then that also could be a freebie that I provide for you guys in the future once I kind of have that all ironed out and feel good about it. I want to file my 2021 taxes in April because I have to, otherwise I'm going to get penalized. And then I want to break even in April and make more than we spend, which brings me right into the next section of the video, which is to look at our budget for April so I can give you guys a feel for where we're at. So if we look at the month of April in my budget little spreadsheet in Notion that I currently have, you'll see that I have an estimated monthly income of $728. What that is the $700 in freelance income that I have estimated for April. And the reason I have 700, not the 500 I discussed, is because that is the amount that I would need to make to break even for the month. So if we look back at the beginning here, you'll see that our monthly spending, I estimated it to be $725. Basically, I looked at the month of March and how much we've spent on the categories that we'll still be spending on in April. And I did kind of like a rough estimate of what I expect us to spend in April. So that looks like $725, which if you subtract the YouTube income of $210 that I'm expected to make in the month of April, then you get about $700 left once you take out taxes, of course, which you'll see over here, to be able to break even for the month. So although I put in my goals that I wanted to make $500, in reality, if I want to break even as well, then I need to make $700 unless I end up doing rover jobs or something like that. That is all I have for our April monthly reset. If you're on a monthly reset grind right now, then you can go watch my last month's monthly reset for March to inspire you even more to reach your goals in April. But that is all I have for you guys in today's video. I really hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.